Hi, my name is Brett Feeney. I'm making this video for the Jordan School District. The three questions that you guys had asked, I'm going to answer those. But first off, I kind of wanted to go through just kind of my educational history a little bit. The first one, I currently work at Wichita Northwest High School right now here in Wichita, Kansas. But prior to that, I worked at Andover High School for 11 years. I was a special education interrelated teacher where we worked on, I worked in, I co-taught English and social studies, and was the department head I was the building department head and the district department head. That is, stuff that included with that would be, I was in charge of, hiring paras, improvement plan for paras, and then managed, my team of 7 special education teachers in the building, and then multiple after that. The district department head, they break it up into secondary and elementary. So I was secondary. I was in 2 high schools, 2 5A high schools, and 2 middle schools. I served in the mentoring program for 8 years at Andover High School. I was the head wrestling coach, assistant football coach, and assistant tennis coach. From there, I took another position at Wichita. I was there for 11 years at Andover High. Took another position at Wichita Northwest High School, more of an inner city school. That's where I'm currently at right now. I teach special education science. Half my classes are in my classroom, biology and science skills, and then the other half of my schedule I co-teach in, we call it CWC. It's a class within a class. I am the head wrestling coach here currently. I helped start the Leadership Academy at school. That's for athletes. Basically all coaches pick their top 2 responsible athletes, and we did a leadership academy with them throughout the school year. We read a book and kind of talked it over a little bit. Also here, I built the girls program. Since I've been here in the last 2 years, we went from 4 girls to 25 girls, very competitive. And then something I am really proud of is that both teams won the Kansas Wrestling Coaches Association All Academic State Team. So just really proud of our team, and I've really enjoyed my educational experience at Andover High as well as Wichita Northwest. So the first question is, what skills and strategies do you use that effectively engage students in learning? How will students benefit with you as their educator? So I think that it all starts with a personal connection. I believe that if you invest in the students' lives, personal lives, that yields good success in the classroom. So oftentimes I'll be asking kids if they're an athlete, how the game went. If they're in band, ask them how the concert went, choir, what have you. So just try to figure out what they do, how they participate in activities inside the school and outside the school. Oftentimes I give students a choice for assessment projects. That also usually yields some good results as well. And we also do an expert lesson where we split up the reading and have each student read a section, and they present to the class. And I talk to them about that I'm a facilitator of learning. I'm not going to stand up here and teach to you. We're going to do that collectively. So I think students having a say and being a part of the educational experience is something that is meaningful learning. The second question that you guys had was, how will you use assessment to improve your student learning outcomes? Describe a time when you use assessment data to improve student learning outcomes. So being in special education right now and have been for the last 15 years, that's what we do. We have to take a look at data and figure out a plan for that student to be successful, and the parameters of school rules and what can be done and what can be done inside and outside the classroom. So one particular instance comes to mind. A very nice kid, we'll just call him Student A, had basically, after looking at his data, we determined that 55% of the time he is turning in less than 45% of the coursework assigned. It also shows that the student was averaging 40% on their exams with off-topic conversations. So basically, I met with the student and the parent, talked to him about the information and told him how that I thought we could improve. We put some plans in place. The student had less off-topic conversations. I believe it was down to but anyway, and then also coming up with a plan to turn in coursework, and that's not 100% of the coursework. When a student is not turning in under 50%, I don't think we just say, hey, you need to turn everything in. I think we start chipping away at it and showing the student how you can have success by doing that, and then in turn it will eventually, with maturity, come into 100% completion rate. But the student turned in more work, stopped the off-topic conversations, and he got an 80% on his chapter test. So met with the parent and the student again, showed the new numbers to him, and showed him how there is a direct correlation between the behaviors that we identified and the grade. So, and doing well on the assessment. So that was a win for me. Number 3, how will you plan lessons to develop intentional learning outcomes to meet the diverse needs of our student population? So I think the word that I really focus on in that question is intentional. And that is something that I do in the wrestling room as well as the classroom. We are very intentional. If we want something done, we have steps to make that happen. And just saying that you want to do it is one thing, coming up with a plan is another thing. So I am very intentional with lessons as well as practices. So I believe that I do develop high interest lessons, and even if the topic isn't the most exhilarating thing, I try to make it fun and try to get the information to them in a way that is enjoyable. I think that's very important. I try to hit many different learning modalities and give students the choice and voice assessments. I also implement bell work and exit tickets. Those are informal assessments that I use to I'm trying to gauge what their previous knowledge is on the topic. Or I might check in about the lesson the day before as far as bell work goes. Exit tickets are a simple way that I can assess student learning at the end of the class period and make adjustments before the next class period if I need to. I believe there was actually my science skills class this year had varying intellectual abilities in the class. So we had to figure out a way for each student to be successful and then serve them in a least restrictive environment. So we did that through co-teaching with the para. We also split up into different groups. Sometimes it'd be pairing students with another student with a higher intellectual ability, and then sometimes we did homogeneous groups where we put lower kids in one group, higher kids in another group, but we try to mix them up as much as we possibly can. So though I have answered the 3 questions and gave you a little bit about myself, I would really appreciate the opportunity to work in your building. I do want to let you know the reason that we are moving from Wichita, Kansas to Salt Lake City, Utah is for my wife's job. She's a OBGYN and she is going to be working in Salt Lake City. So we're relocating. We're really excited about it, and looking to serve Utah now. Thank you for your time.